Good evening. Welcome to Real Singaporean Stories. Today, very honoured to have invited Mr. Leong Sze Hian. I think everyone knows Mr. Leong. He's the past president of the Society of Financial Service Professionals, Wharton Fellow and Harvard alumnus. Most importantly, people label him as the people's champion. Let's go straight into today's question. What defines success?
To me, success is being happy. That you can do the things in your life which you feel are meaningful, and if your life is interesting, is fun, to me that's success.
Your definition of success seems very simple to achieve. Seems not so simple to achieve as well. Just to be happy, is that successful? If I may, many youngsters like me will feel that they need a house, car, condo, a great career. What do you think about those things? I mean, I'm sure you have these things before you come to this stage and say, I just want to be happy.
本来无一物，而处人成来. So if I translate in English, it's something like originally there were no things. If there are no things, they cannot gather dust. If no dust, there can't be problems. I think we all come to this world with nothing. We will live with nothing. And if you think carefully or deeply enough, I think a lot of people will come to the realization that the best things in life are not things. Things are just manifestations of what we think other people view us by looking at our things. As you mentioned, you have a big house, so does the house make you happy? Or are you happy because you think that your friends see your big house? And therefore, so are you happy, or see you're trying to make your friends happy?
So, allow me to chase on to this question, the definition of success. What you have shared so far is very good, very noble, but for younger Singaporeans, middle-aged Singaporeans, what are some quantifiable, measurable KPIs? I'm sure many successful people would like to know what are some KPIs, they would like to compare, they would like to have a better sense of what measures success.
For a start, perhaps if a person does not have any financial concerns or worries, you don't have to worry about money, then to me, that is a big part of if you want to define it as success. So it is really different, I think, for everyone.
Yeah.
For example, if you ask a monk, he says money is not important to him. So he may have no worries because he has a place to stay, he has food to eat, he's able to do what he wants, and it's meaningful for him. So that's success for him. Now you look at the statistics, it's very strange. Do you think the people who kill themselves, people who commit suicide, do rich people commit suicide more, or do poor people do?
I assume poor people.
Wrong, right? If you look at statistics, normally it's rich people who commit suicide, and the reason for this is rich people haven't tasted failure in their life. So the first time they fail, they cannot take it, they kill themselves. Now poor people, to them, every day they are struggling, So it's just one thing after another. And so you look at the statistics, rich people are more likely to kill themselves. Of course, they kill themselves when they become poor, but poor people will just carry on because that's life for them.
Okay. I think we've got a very different and unique view of success today. My next question has to do with what inspires you daily. We already know that you are a successful financier. You have been in the financial industry for many years. Many of us aspire to be like you, to be as successful, to own a setup, but you have done all this. Having done all this, what do you think inspires you daily? You go to work seeing your success. What makes you happy? What inspires you?
Boredom.
Boredom
inspires. Because if you take the bus, you take the MRT, and you are financially independent, then essentially you don't have any financial worries, So if that's the case, you think back, I think the world today is very different, like say the world a few hundred years ago. Let's go back to perhaps 1,000 years ago or 500 years ago in China, perhaps. Now, I think at that time a lot of people don't wake up and then go to work, and struggle and look at the career, buy a big house, right? You look at you believe all the movies that we watch about ancient China, right? They probably wake up and they think, do we go fishing today, or do we go write a poem, or or we go look at the scenery or something, right? So to me, life is not about acquiring materialistic things.
Anymore, or has never been about acquiring?
Of course, it's easier to say now that I'm 57 years old, right? And, I have, you know, the house is fully paid, and
Yes.
all that, right? But essentially, I have always been the kind of person who thought
Free spirit, more carefree.
yeah, I never passed my highway code, so it's not so I can't drive. Therefore, I take public transport. You know, and you know, if you take public transport, you have extra $2 million when you retire. Simple. You compound $1,000 a month, which you will use for a car at 6% from 25 to 65. That's $2 million.
That's interesting, but Mr. Leong, just let me push you further. The question was, what inspires you on a daily basis after being so successful measurably? So are there a few items, a few elements you'd like to tell us? What actually inspires you?
To be able to do what I like to do.
Yes.
And my character is such that every day or every month, every year, I'm always looking for new things to do. You know, to me, that's life. Right? I cannot eat chicken rice every day. I cannot be traveling to Malaysia, you know, for every year's holiday. I like, you know, I like to have diversity. So to me, you know, okay, perhaps I should say that I don't like the word success, you know, because I'm the kind of person who, right from the start, okay, let me share with you about my school days, right? You know, never study, never did homework, you know, because to me, success was just to pass, get 50 marks, then pass, okay already. You know? So that's me, but everyone is different. See? To me, life is not about being the best or better than other people, because you have 100 people, surely some are in the top 50, some in the bottom 50. If you all try very hard to be in the top 10, well, then I think perhaps all the time we'll all be struggling. You know?
I think that's good. The key that we learned from Mr. Leong today is that diversity inspires him as a person. Coming to my two last questions, I think this is something that all of the viewers on Real Singaporean Stories would like to ask. What characteristics do you think young adults, middle-aged Singaporeans should possess in order to be successful in their own faculties? Exactly what characteristics?
I normally answer the questions as they are asked.
Yes.
But to be frank, I don't really like this question. Because I think the problem today is too many people try to think too hard about what they should be or what they ought to be. Right? Everyone is born different, right? You will be what you are and what you make yourself out to be. So there are no characteristics. Everyone has their own characteristics. There's no such thing as good characteristics or bad characteristics. You know? Everyone is different. Every characteristic is important because every person is important.
Fair opinion. Now the last question, Mr. Leong, which is the most important questions in Real Singaporean Stories. What does it mean to be a Singaporean in this day and age? In the 60s, in the 70s, in the 80s, if you remember Mr. Leong, we see the hardworking bee, national productivity symbol. A while ago, creativity. Right now, in this day and age, volatility of the markets. Politically, people are changing. Some say they are more mature. We are seeing more competition. What does it mean to be a Singaporean? What is our identity?
Let me first try to answer your question from the perspective of my view of how others look at us. I travel a fair bit. Right? Wherever you go, Singapore is such a famous country, you know. And you ask foreigners, generally I think you get a lot of comments like, oh, Singaporeans must be very hardworking, right? They must be very smart, you know, and they live together very well in harmony. That's why Singapore, you know, is the economic miracle of the world in contemporary
So we are
history.
smart, hardworking so far. More than that?
But then, now if I turn it back to, from my personal perspective, right? Today, what does it mean to be Singaporean? Of course, on the good points, I think we have a very peaceful society, multiracialism. You know, it's a place where there's meritocracy, right? Whether you are poor or you know you are handicapped, right? If you work hard, you study hard, you know, that's been a story that's been told to us. You can make it, and that is still true today. But if you look at the statistics today compared to say 10, 20, 30 years ago, increasingly I'm seeing more and more Singaporeans who are struggling just to make ends meet. So perhaps let me end by saying that many of course, because of the financial counseling and all that we do, many of the people we meet today, and increasingly a larger proportion of population, seem to be finding it very difficult, just to earn the basics to make a living. Life has become extremely stressful for more and more Singaporeans. And I think we have to do something about it, because this trend cannot continue. You look at, for example, our marriage rates are at their lowest, our divorce rates are at the highest, our procreation rates are at the lowest. Our suicide rates are also one of the highest in the world. So you just look at the plain statistics. Society, in a sense, is not improving. You come to what would I say is the concerns of typical Singaporeans.
We hear these troubles, and I think the numbers are telling. But coming back to the program, in view of all these statistics, what implication does it have of Singaporeans? What do we have to do? What do we have to keep believing to continue being a Singaporean? Like you say, embracing diversity, treasuring meritocracy. What are some characteristics that we have to strengthen to solve these issues?
For Singapore society to continue to develop, to evolve, trying to be, should I say, individualistic or individually, as you say, diligent and perseverance, does not work so well. We need to have, I would call, group interaction. Right? We need more and more Singaporeans to be aware of and to express an interest and to participate, in policies, in issues, in what is it that we want our country to be, right? As you say, don't leave it to the politicians, right? We should all play a part.
Thanks, Mr. Leong, for his precious time. Just to summarize, I think today Mr. Leong has shared with us what really inspires him: diversity of interest, doing new things every day. What does it mean to be a Singaporean? The old values still exist: diligence, meritocracy, treasuring multiculturalism. Mr. Leong has also mentioned that New Age Singaporeans will probably have to be more active in thinking and in delivering their thinking concepts about public policy.